You want to hear a funny joke?
Yeah.
I thought about this today because I've been watching Queer Eye again. And I realized that when I watch Queer Eye on my PlayStation turns into a gay station.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the time has come. For the next 30 minutes, two millennials will attempt to make you laugh with a steady blend of self-deprecating humor and petty arguments. In this corner, the babyface sports fan who took way too long to graduate college, Ben Anderson! And in the other corner, the man who disproves the theory that to love another, you have to love yourself, Gage Ren! Welcome to the Round 2 podcast.
And we are back.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen?
Hi, friends. We have returned for a 6th episode in our 2nd season of the Round 2 podcast.
And honestly, I can't believe this season has gone by so quickly.
I know,
I can't
it's
believe
great.
we're already at 6 now.
Yeah, the Round 2 podcast, Season 2, Episode 6, under the umbrella that we have started of the Unanchored Media Network. We are the new podcast. Well, we're the old podcast under the new network, I guess.
And if you guys did not tune in last week, that's fine. You can go back and tune in later. But in case you're wondering what we're talking about, Ben, myself, our friend Michael Kreider, and Stephen Hank.
John Jacob, Stephen Michael Kreider.
Thank you for the correction. His name is my name, too.
It is.
But the four of us...
Whenever we go out.
The people always shout.
There he goes.
John, Jacob, Stephen, Michael Kreider.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Anyway, there's so few people that are going to get that reference.
But he will, and that's what's going to make him the most mad.
That's what's going to count, though.
Very true.
But the four of us have, over the last month or so, actually, now, we've been talking a lot. We finally got the wheels moving here. Our new media network, it's titled the Unanchored Media Network. And
meaning that there is not an anchor that holds us down to one spot. We are unbiased. We are, we just bring you what we see straight, and that's about it.
Or gay.
Or gay.
We don't discriminate either.
Or gay. You heard in the beginning of this episode that I've been watching Queer Eye, and
who's your favorite Queer Eye, Ben?
it's Jonathan.
Oh, of course it is. Jonathan is so extra,
He
but
is.
he is the best one.
He's the perfect one. Like, he's literally him. He himself is just perfection.
And also, I am just so jealous of his hair.
Oh.
Like, if I could grow my hair like that, no one would ever have a chance again. Oh God!
Anyway.
Wish I had that hair.
Anyway,
This sounded super gay of me. Just oh God, Jonathan.
So we have come back for this lovely 6th episode, and it will be out tomorrow. We're recording on late Monday night, but it will be out on Tuesday, where we will be putting it on Twitter with hashtag Round 2 Tuesday.
Round 2 Tuesday.
So make sure if you're listening to it on Tuesday, give us a little tweet. Just let your friends know that it is Round 2 Tuesday, brought to you by the Unanchored Media Network. And so that's shameless plugs at the beginning too. We're gonna go beginning and end for shameless plugs now.
To be fair, Ben, shameless plugs only exist at the end of the show once we've earned the shameless plug.
That's fair.
I won't call that a shameful plug. It was just a plug.
It was just a plug.
Yeah, it's just a straight up plug.
That's fair. So we are here today, partying with you friends. And we're going to go ahead and jump in. We've got some different things that have happened over the past couple weeks since we last talked sports, but nothing actually really exciting has happened. LeBron's leaving Cleveland.
Well,
possibly.
Surprise.
More than likely.
It's going to happen.
Nothing's happened in hockey other than Alex Ovechkin being the greatest person to ever win a Stanley Cup because he's just he just hangs out with it.
Oh, yeah. No, like best
It
thing
slept
ever.
in his bed.
Best thing ever. Best thing I've seen.
So great. But we did have a couple things happen when we talked last. We didn't really get to cover the Cowboys a whole lot because not much has happened there. But we did have a couple things happen these past couple weeks. So, Gage, I'm going to let you kind of lay out some things, and I'll just kind of commentate on them.
Well, guys, we are now officially 83 days away from the start of the season. And
when you're listening to this tomorrow, it'll be 82.
It'll be 2.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Jeez, I don't want to think about that right now.
Literally, it popped up on my saved videos the other day, his retirement speech, and I had to scroll past it because I was going to start crying again, and I can't handle that.
Anyway, so we're now when you listen to this, we'll be 82 days away from the start of the season. It's starting to get a little more interesting now this time of year. Things are starting to develop more. Mini camps and practice squads, stuff like that going on. And for the Cowboys, as is tradition, the things that are happening in the offseason are staying in the news for the wrong reasons. We have for now the 4th year in the row have had or going to have a player suspended for the first 4 games, and that's going to be David Irving this year.
Goody.
For substance abuse policy.
Yay.
So, man. And, honestly, though, I'll start it off like this. Honestly, though, perfect year for it to happen if it's going to happen. He's up for contract after this year.
Yeah, true.
So, the dude is, don't get me wrong, I got respect for his game.
He's already, I guess that's the tough part for him is that he's going to come into the season treading on thin ice.
So, good year for us because once he comes out that 4 games, he's going to be lighting the field up because he's like, I need to try to earn as much money on this field. For this season, I need to try to earn as much money from them as I can or increase my value because he's a flight risk or he's kind of a liability to have on your team.
Absolutely.
But if, for a lot of teams, and even the Cowboys, for a lot of teams, that liability will be worth it if he produces in the field. So,
100%. I mean, look at Jerry's track record with people who weren't necessarily upstanding citizens, but if they produced for his team, he's keeping them. I mean, he's signing them, and he's going to spend a whole lot of money on them.
And the thing is, a lot of these guys do come at a discount. Jerry loves getting guys at discounts, and not just bad seeds either. I mean, look at Jalen Smith. He whenever we get drafted him a couple years ago, he was projected before his injury to go in the 3rd overall, or I think it was supposed to be. Yeah. And so he was supposed to be first 3 rounders at least, and we got him. I don't know when we got him late in the draft.
Oh yeah.
And so Jerry loves making bargain guys. He loves bargain deals.
Absolutely. And I think, especially, if you look at the track record of Jerry with guys with a discount, you had one of the greatest. I won't say the greatest. At the time, one of the best pass rushers in the game, Greg Hardy.
Yep.
Got him at a big old discount, then he didn't do anything for this team. But now he's fighting in the MMA. I don't know if you knew that.
I heard about that. I would love to see him get his ass kicked because he's a piece of shit. So
that's okay.
We're gonna allow that one.
Well, I'm gonna let that one slide.
That one. I think everyone can agree on that one. So, but
he's not a good person.
Greg Hardy. If you're listening to this, and of course he's not, but Greg Hardy, if you're listening to this, I'll fight you 1v1. Bet you won't. Bet you won't 1v1.
I will pay money to see that.
Oh, the thing is, though, Ben, I've only ever seen him successfully hit women, so I don't know if he's going
to. Wow.
We're going
there.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
He's a scumbag.
Speaking of people who,
get a little mad in here.
Yeah, we're gonna kind of derail off of that one. Speaking of people who were flight risks and had a lot of potential of really good things, and then they had some really good seasons here, but then they really didn't towards the end. T.O.
Good old Terrell Owens, man.
That's my quarterback.
I love him, man. I love his passion, dude. He's got such great passion. I love him.
I'll say this, is that thankfully I was not as in tune with football as I am now when he was playing for the 49ers and slammed the football down in the middle of the star, because I would have just had a pure and utter hatred for him that never would have died. But I wasn't paying attention to football as much back then, so when he came to the team, I was like, okay, cool. He's a really good player, and he's done some really good things in the NFL. And then I figured out what he did, and I was like, that's kind of messed up, but he's producing for us, so that's cool. But for those that didn't get the news, Terrell Owens is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, and has put out a letter, I guess either on his Instagram or his Twitter or both, that he has declined the option to go to the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, where he will be inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is like one of the biggest honors that any football player can ever have in their entire life. But he has said, I'm not going to go to that because of other reasons that he did not want to get into, was, I believe, the exact quote off of the letter that he put out.
So, and Ben and I talked about this before the podcast, just briefly, and I don't think we agree on this move right here, but I love the move. Now, if you'll allow me, I'll explain.
Go ahead.
I'll explain why I love it. So, this is a quintessential TO move right now.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a 100% TO move. And so, and a lot of people, yeah, you can make a case for T.O. just being a diva right now and being a drama queen and whatever you want to, however you want to cut it, you can make a case for it, I guess. But the things he did in the league to get attention is different than what he's doing right now, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Because the thing he did in the league to get attention, he did it for the sake of getting attention and getting the spotlight on himself. Whereas I think the reason why he's doing this is because the Hall of Fame has shafted him. How many years in a row now has he been eligible?
Three.
I think 3 years in a row now. We'll have to check that number. But multiple years in a row now, he's been shafted. Whenever he's the top three wide receiver of all time. You want to talk just stats? Top 3 wide receiver of all time. Dude should have been first round ballot. Or he should have been. Is that our terminology? I'm getting
first ballot.
Yeah, he should have been first ballot. Absolutely. I mean, if you want to say that he was cancer to a locker room, or you want to say he was this and this and this or whatever, you can make a case for that. I get it, but at the same time, you can't argue with the numbers that he produced.
So this was his third year of eligibility.
So 2 years in a row they shafted him. He's one of the best wide receivers of all time, just stat wise. Not to mention the fact that he made the NFL actually interesting again. Both him and Chad Ochocinco made the NFL interesting
man.
Again. I mean, and they
changed his last name from Johnson to Ochocinco, and then after one season of having Ochocinco on the back of his jersey, he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that and change that back.
Nah, that's gonna be
that ain't me. That ain't me, fam.
But those two guys brought so much attention to the league because so now think back, those years whenever they're in their prime, and if you're just watching a game, or you're watching your home team or whatever, you're watching whatever team you're a fan of, you're going to watch that game, and then let's say you want to keep watching football after you're done, because everyone likes watching football after they watch their own team.
And if you're watching the noon game, the 3 o'clock game that comes on.
Oh yeah.
Or if you're watching the 3 o'clock game, the Monday or the Sunday night, or if you've watched your team already and Monday Night Football's on, and you saw one of those two on, you were probably going to tune in for a little bit just to see what they did.
You want to see what happens, and that draws people in. And it's crazy to me how the NFL shied away from that for so long, because they're bringing in money, man. They're bringing attention to the league itself and bringing in viewers, and you're just completely ignoring the fact they're doing it based on what they're doing, which wasn't inappropriate, wasn't illegal. They're doing a wholesome way to bring attention to the league. But what he's doing now, I think right now, and he's not even making a big deal about it. He's not crying on TV. He's not.
That's my quarterback.
And I love him for that. I don't care what anyone says.
I still love that Milos has the picture of the moment of "That's my quarterback."
Where is it?
It's again next to the dude.
Oh, is it? I don't even think I've even noticed it there.
Next time, if you're going there tonight, walk over there and you'll see the crying T.O.
That's my quarterback.
That's my quarterback. Oh gosh. And really where my disagreement with it is, and I do understand the points that you're making, and I think you make good points, but where my problem with all of it lies is that there's a difference. Really, there's a time and place of being able to, kind of hold middle fingers to the selection committee, and in his 30 year of eligibility, for 2 years he got looked over. And Jerry Jones got in before he did, which I think kind of makes him upset, and I get that. But I have a lot of... I think that there's a difference in that, in being able to have your time and place to do that. I think he's picking the wrong time and place. I think if he had gone to the ceremony, I think he could have had a lot of fun in his speech of being, one of the top 3 receivers of all time, and not being selected until his third year of eligibility. But I don't necessarily agree with it, to the fact of you are getting honored with something that most players in the NFL hope and dream and pray of receiving. That honor, being inducted in the Hall of Fame, getting the gold jacket, and being able to stand there in front of all of your former teammates, all of the guys that looked up to you, all of the guys that will continue to look up to you. You've got a national stage, a national spotlight to stand there and say, this is who I was as a player. This is why I did what I did. This is why I feel like this is why I'm so honored to receive this, was because this was my upbringing. This is how I was coached. You get to just have the stage to one, promote yourself, but two, just to bring everybody else up with you. And he turned it down because of I guess, a personal vendetta that he has. Instead of looking at it and saying, I am honored to receive the gold jacket, to get my bust,
bust. Yeah, we know. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure. So, sometimes when I say bust, people are like, and I'm like, no. The thing that they make out of iron of their heads and their shoulders.
Usually it's a nut, right? It's like a bust of nut. It's like a bust of nut, right? Can we keep that in there?
I'll consider it.
Okay.
But
on.
He's. We'll decide on that in post-production.
Can we keep it in the show, Ben?
We'll decide on that in post-production. But I think he's got a lot of, he had a lot of really interesting positions that he could have taken on that, and he chose to just sit it out instead. And we are way over on this segment. I just looked at time.
Sorry. Real quick, though, so I get what you're saying. I see where you're coming from. The thing, though, that sold me on his decision on it, because before, when I first heard about it, I was like, that's kind of petty. The thing that sold me, though, was one of the Hall of Fame, one of the people on the committee that votes on who gets in, made a statement after he came out with his statement and said, if I had known that he was going to refuse to come, I wouldn't have voted him in. And I'm like, that's not why you vote. You don't vote someone in because they're going to come to the ceremony.
And again, that's personal vendettas. And
so that's why I completely understand where he's coming from.
I didn't know that statement was made, and that's actually really funny. So, I don't think my position will change on it. I think that there is a time and a place that you can do that. I think completely refusing the right to, or refusing the honor to get on that stage and talk about your career and having, that honor being bestowed upon you in front of the entire National Football League and everybody else and all of the other Hall of Famers that are alive that are still there. I think that's kind of where my biggest problem with it lies. But we will continue Cowboys updates as the preseason goes on. And we're not actually going to do the second segment. We had it planned, but I looked at time and we are so over. So, and with how our third segment with the last time we did it, we're going to mix some stuff up. But I will say that Gage has given us homework this week. He gave me he in pre-show he said, you have homework.
Which I've never said before. Usually it's Ben telling me I have homework.
Normally it's me that gets to say that, but Gage got to take the reins on it apparently. And so we're going to see The Incredibles 2 this week. And we are going to report back next week with a full report on The Incredibles 2, but I'm also going to introduce the segment now for next week so that people can kind of get excited about it. But it's the fact that Disney has found the perfect way to keep your childhood alive.
And we'll expand on that more next week.
I absolutely will do that. We will absolutely do that, I should say. So we are going to move into our third segment. The last time we did this, we did it over new rap. And it's going to be our top 3 songs out of a genre. And this week, we're actually going to focus on and highlight the alternative genre.
Yes, we are. One of possibly my personal favorite of all genres.
My favorite alternative band actually just put out their new album this past week. Mayday Parade just put out Sunnyland. I've been listening to it consistently. I actually tweeted about it today.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah. I've listened to it consistently since it came out, I guess, Thursday at midnight, but I didn't get to listen to it until Friday morning. But then I listened to it pretty much religiously the rest of the way through.
I promise at some point this week I will try to listen to it all the way through and just give you my personal opinion on it.
Absolutely. It's an incredible album. I think that they've had a lot of... I think they did something that they needed to do. I'm just going to pretend like their last album never existed. I'm going to pretend Black Lions wasn't even there. It's a good building block to them thinking, hey, maybe we want to do something different, and then realizing that different isn't good for them, and they came back. So, but we are going to do our top 3 songs of the alternative genre, and we each have 3, and in post-production once we start talking about it, I will lay in the song. And so, Gage, you want to start or you want me to start?
I'll go and start it off.
All right, you start it off, bud.
So, my number 3 song, top 3, is going to be the song Needing Getting. It's actually Needing/Getting. Okay. And that song's by OK Go. Mm-hmm. I'll get... This isn't going to be too real, Ben.
Okay.
Not like too real for the podcast.
Okay.
But this song was actually shown to me by my last ex.
Okay.
And the whole idea of the song is or the chorus, part of the chorus is needing is one thing, but getting is another. I'm talking about a girl, or not a girl necessarily, but someone that you need, but not being able to have that person you need. And so post breakup, that was a song I turned to a lot because that song, in my opinion, really encompassed everything I was feeling.
Yeah,
with
for sure.
The music and the lyrics and everything, encompassed everything I was feeling at one time. And I love OK Go. If you guys, and I know most people have heard some of their stuff before. They've got some pretty popular songs. Mm-hmm. But if you guys, seriously, if you have not seen any of OK Go's music videos,
they're incredible. Every single one of them.
Every single one of them. There's some that are maybe not quite to the same degree as others, but there's one they do in Zero Gravity. Mm-hmm. There's one they do it in the airplane. I watched a little documentary on it.
The most famous one that they did was the one on treadmills.
Yep.
Here it goes.
Here it goes again.
And that was featured on all the Apple commercials right when Apple really started to get their boom with the iPhone. So that's I loved OK Go. I haven't gotten to listen to them in a while, but when I listened to them, they had a couple really really good songs that I enjoyed. So I think that's a good third pick. I'll definitely, when I'm doing this for post production, I'll definitely give that song a listen, and I'll be able to give you a more in depth.
The music video for that one, I'll show that one to you. That one's it's not as crazy as the other ones, but it's so creative and it's executed so well.
Awesome.
I love it so much.
Excellent.
So what's your number 3, Ben?
There's actually 2 versions of the song that's my number 3, but I'm picking one version because this version actually, in my opinion, surpasses the other one. I'm pretty sure if you ask any fan of this band, they'll say the same thing. My third song is "This Is Gospel" by Panic at the Disco.
Okay.
But the piano version.
Okay.
The one he plays, the music video is awesome because he just literally sits there in front of a white grand piano and they just start dumping random stuff onto the piano and then they throw paint at him and at the very end he does the hair flip that's like the most perfect hair flip of all time.
Just sex.
It's just sex. Just boom sex. And so I love Brendan Urie. I always have. I think he's got a great voice. I think he's a great talent. And I think that with that song, especially with kind of where I was when I first heard that song, it talks a lot about, it's not always, nothing is ever going to be perfect, and this is the gospel for those that have never found true solace in one gospel.
Okay, I like that. Yeah.
And so that one really hit close with me, and especially kind of when I heard it, I was going through a lot of really more difficult stuff. Like we're not getting super real on it, but I was going through some really difficult stuff, and I first heard that song, and it really stuck with me because it was, no, if you're lost, something has you. And so it was one of those really deep cutting things for me and I love the song, and I think it's beautifully performed every time he does it. So
I do agree though that I love both versions. I got love for both of them. But the first time I heard that song was the piano version of "This Is Gospel," and yeah, you're right. In my opinion, just the simplicity of just the piano and just his voice, no backups, no electronics, anything like that going on. Just the simplicity.
And I enjoy. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy the album version, but there's just something of him and a piano just coinciding and making this beautiful, beautiful song that really, it means a lot. And also the album version makes it seem like more of kind of a peppy song when it's really not, like, at all. So there's a lot of, I really enjoy that song. We're going to move into our second ones though. Gage, take it away, bud.
Well, number 2 for me is going to be "Ghost of You" by My Chemical Romance. And, this one probably dates back the furthest for me, personally. I mean, I was listening to My Chem back in, 7th grade, I guess.
MCR.
Whenever I started.
Oh, I wish. See, this is why once we get more established, I'm going to be able to get us a drop board. The perfect drop right there would have been that Vine, or that it was a YouTube video that got turned into a Vine of the 2 goth girls sitting there on New Year's Eve. They're like, yeah, we're just sitting in our room listening to NPR. Remind me to show you. You've seen it.
I've seen it. I know exactly what you're talking
and
about.
I'm Tara.
So, anyway, back to My Chemical Romance. I'm still an emo kid at heart though.
Yeah, we all are.
Oh yeah, like I still, if I could grow my hair out long again and put it over one eye like I used to,
or grow a dyke spike,
or that was post emo then.
That was That was when you were going punk.
That was like...
You were punk rock, bro.
Yeah, it was punk rock. It was the Adam Lambert style.
Yeah.
But Ghost of You is a song I honestly cannot for the life of me right now remember what album it's off of. But Ghost of You
Pause
is...
for research.
Pause for research.
Keep going, but...
Okay. But another one of those, if you've seen the music video, makes it all the better. The music video they did for that song, they set during World War II in the...
3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge.
Thank you. And so it's set in World War II era, and part of it is set in, what's that called?
USO.
Yeah.
It's a USO show.
Yeah, USO show that they're performing in, in their soldiers. And then the other part of it is showing them raiding the beach in the morning. And man, that song, I can't watch that song without like feeling something or like my stomach tightening up.
That video definitely gets the pulls the heartstrings.
Especially because the lead singer Gerard Way, his brother is also in the band, Mikey.
Correct.
And during
love me some Mikey.
I love Mikey. Man.
He's in interviews. He's always he's the gooster. He's the
Gooster
gooster
gaster. He's the Gooster gaster. Little Post Malone reference.
There you go.
But during the scene where they're storming the beach, his brother, this is his real life brother.
Spoiler alerts, by the way.
Oh yeah, if you haven't seen it. But his real life brother, dies on the beach, and he's like going over to him, he's like grabbing him and stuff like that, and also singing and all the words everything happening at one time. Oh man, that song is, in my opinion, still the best My Chemical Romance song of all time. And they would love it so much. I can't watch that music video without like just feeling really, really like weird.
And to add a point to that, they actually did an interview with them about that music video, and they said, that was incredible the way that you put that emotion on. And you said, I didn't really ever have to do anything because they didn't really tell me a whole lot when we were going into the music video. They just said something's going to happen to you. And so then when we were in the production of it, he was shot and was like, fake shot, but he was laying there dying. And the only thought that was running through my head was, I'm losing my brother.
Yeah, that's heavy.
And that's why the pure emotion that comes out of it is just so real and so amazing. And I love MCR. And I think, oddly enough, going into my second song, that is "Welcome to the Black Parade" by My Chemical Romance.
Of the same thread.
Yes. It's off the album that followed 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, called "The Black Parade." And the reason I love "Welcome to the Black Parade," well, there's lots of reasons. One, it is a very multi-layered song. I'm a fan of a song that has multiple layers.
Like ogres, right?
Ogres. And onions.
Ogres have layers. I can't do the voice.
That's why I wish I had the drop button. But we have really, and the music video is interesting just because and this was when Gerard Way went blonde. That was a big move. He cut his hair short and went blonde. Everybody lost their mind. Like bleach,
platinum blonde.
Stuck his head in a bowl of bleach. Didn't drink it though. That's bad news.
That's bad news bears right there.
That's bad news bears. But no, and so he went that platinum blonde. He kind of changed the scene of the alternative and pop punk, movement, because at that point it was all dark and scary, and the music video was still very dark and scary and weird. But it was the fact that he went from the long hair and all to the short hair, platinum blonde hair. Everybody was kind of like, whoa. And so and I really think with the album The Black Parade, it kind of changed the way that alternative music was looked at, in a sense.
Okay. And you mind if I add on to that real quick? So I agree with what you're saying, especially, you go back to what you were saying before about before in the genre, it was everything was very dark, and I think before that, everything was really dark in a kind of a negative way. Everything was like, death is coming, and like, you feel away all the time, and everything always feels angsty. It's all angsty. But with that album in particular, they showed, a lot of things are dark. This is a dark feeling album, but there's a lot of beauty in what we're talking about. There's a lot of beauty in death, and there's a lot of beauty. Death is natural. There's a lot of beauty in what's going on right here. And even though it talks about in the Black Parade, or in Welcome to the Black Parade, it talks about what I'm assuming was his father, growing up, telling him, this is the kind of man you're going to be. I want you to be this kind of man that helps people and does this. And I think I don't know if they ever allude to it or not, but I always went under the assumption that his father died at some point, and that he was just trying to carry the legacy on and going in that.
Absolutely.
Going
And
that,
there's a lot of really. I've always enjoyed it just for the fact that it's a very. That album has, again, that song has so many layers, but that album has layers as well.
And ogres have layers.
Ogres also have layers, just like onions. But that, for me, there's just a lot of, with the album The Black Parade, there was so many just really great songs off of it, and ones that can really, I mean, it speaks to any occasion. You've got Teenagers, you've got Famous Last Words.
Oh yeah.
You've got I Don't Love You.
One of my favorites off that album. Definitely, the second to last song on there, Disenchanted. Not many people listen to it very much.
Phenomenal song.
But that's a solid song. Now, I mean, and it leads into Famous Last Words so well.
Oh yeah.
Like kind of slows down and like kind of gets a little bit, kind of get misty out there, and then just goes straight into Famous Last Words. I love it.
So Gage, go ahead and knock out your favorite song from the alternative genre.
My favorite song is going to be the song "The Angel and the One" from Weezer. And Weezer is one of my favorite alternative bands. One of my favorite bands, just in general, all time. And actually, this song doesn't get a lot of credit. I find it's not one of their more popular songs. You know, you got Buddy Holly, you've got
Beverly Hills,
you've got "Say It Ain't So." You got all these big songs, that these big radio songs, and they were good songs, and they had a lot of mainstream popularity. And so, I still got a lot of love for those songs, and that's what kind of drew me into Weezer to begin with. But "The Angel and the One," it's it puts me at peace anytime I listen to that song.
Absolutely.
And if you haven't if you haven't gone back that far into Weezer, it came off the self-titled album Weezer back in 2008. And "The Angel and the One," I guess if I had to describe what it's about, kind of like a guy loosely talking about somebody, a girl, that he kind of wants to, like, he has like a desire to stay with her, a desire to be with her, but also realizes a higher duty or a higher, responsibility that he has to give himself or somebody else, that, he's taken himself away from all these personal attachments and going towards a greater cause, the greater good kind of thing. And the end of
I'm the greatest good. Sorry,
you're already getting into the Incredibles now.
Yes, I'm so
At
excited.
the end of the song, they just say the words "Peace Shalom" over and over again while they're playing out. And that song, I love that song so much. It just builds up really slow, and then it really does a good job of pacing itself and building up until it hits that crescendo. And everything comes to a head at one time, and everything going on, and it kind of slowly dies off. It's a great song. If you haven't got a chance to listen to it, I don't know how else to even promote the song. I just love it. It's just me personally, one of my favorite songs, and definitely number one for me at alternative music. But Ben, what you got for number one?
Oddly enough, opening this segment, I talked about one of my favorite, actually probably my favorite band of all time, Mayday Parade, putting out their most recent album last week. And my favorite song from the alternative genre is actually off of their self-titled album. And it is called "Stay." And there's a lot of reasons behind why this is my favorite song by them. This is the first song of theirs that I ever actually really heard and connected to. I had heard of Mayday Parade on and off through high school. I know the kids who wore band shirts, I kind of knew about those. But it was just one of those, I knew the name, but I didn't think I would ever enjoy the music. I thought it was just one of those, insanely heavy screamo bands that I just wasn't into and couldn't really get behind. I found my love for actual alternative music as I got older, which was weird because normally it's during the very angsty times of your life that you need that. But
you got angsty later on.
I think I kind of kept my angst grew, but I kept a lot of it repressed until I got to UNT, and then that was where all the angst came out.
An explosion of angst.
Yeah. It was bad.
Angsted all over the place.
It was real bad. But I was introduced to Mayday Parade by my little brother from my fraternity, CJ Louder. CJ.
Did I never show you Mayday Parade in high school? Because I listened to Mayday Parade a lot.
No, and I had heard y'all. Looking back, you and Johnny Spring used to sing. Which song? Y'all used to sing it when y'all walked down the halls every day.
Oh my God, dude! I haven't thought about that in years. That's crazy to me right now because that's a thing that I definitely did, but it hasn't entered my mind in probably the last 6 years. That's crazy, yeah. I forgot what song it was, man. Yeah, we used to, every time we saw each other in the hall, we'd sing this Mayday Parade song. And like Chris Marks, Johnny Gagos, like the three of us will always play guitar together. We played Mayday Parade songs all the time together. But yeah, I don't think I really ever like pushed you to get into them. Though.
No, and a lot of it was, for me, I was still trying to discover, if alternative music was where I needed to be. Like, and so then I got to UNT. CJ introduced me to Mayday Parade. Actually, we were sitting at the library one night, and I had dealt with my ex-girlfriend coming up to a table and literally just standing there and starting drama with me while I'm studying and trying to pass my classes. The semester that eventually sent me home.
Who was it?
Huh?
Who was it?
We'll talk.
I mean, it's been like 9 years.
Yeah, and I'd be stunned if she listens to it. But on the
or he, don't discriminate. Here at Round 2 Podcast, brought to you by Anchor Media Network.
But we've got there was a lot of really strong feelings that I had at that point in my life, especially towards her and kind of the way things ended, and I never truly got to get any closure with her until way later in life. But at that time, I was still very hung up on her.
Already figured out who it was. Yeah,
very hung up on her. And she came over to the table that we were sitting at literally just to start drama, because we still had the same circle of friends, but she came over straight up just to start drama. And I was not okay. I was pissed off. And CJ was sitting next to me, and he literally just, like, I have my headphones in, I'm pissed off, I'm writing stuff down, I'm looking at my computer and writing stuff down. And I hear my phone unlock, I'm like, whatever, he's probably doing something CJ-ish. And my song stops and a new song starts, and it's the intro of the song, which is, I need some time just to discover the things that I need for now. Everything that I feel is like a warm, deep calm casting over me, slowly taking me to somewhere new. And I was like, hold on, what is happening right now? And then the song just progressed, and it's, oh, can you tell I haven't slept very well since the last time that we spoke? And it was like, oh, God.
Everything that you're feeling in that moment.
Yeah, okay. I'm not crying, you're crying. And I literally had to stop what I was doing and put everything down and just sit back and embrace this band. I then went on to listen to their entire discography pretty much the rest of my time at North Texas. I didn't listen to anything else but Mayday Parade and Macklemore.
Yeah, I went through that same phase.
And it was just one of those very... I want to say it was almost one of the more transformative experiences of my life, because I went through some of the worst times of my entire life. And those last few months that I was at North Texas, I went through some very, very dark times. And the connection that I had to that music, and the connection that I still have to that music, to bringing me out of that dark hole that I was in, is something that I can't ever pass off. And on July 6th, we will actually be seeing them at Warped Tour.
And actually, now that we found out that Under Oath is not going to be at Warped Tour, then I probably will be with you whenever we go. I'll probably go with you to like get to their stage early. And get set up early so we can actually see him.
Yeah, because I'm going to fight my way to the front of that. Thankfully, the good news about being a big dude at a concert, nobody tries to fight you.
Yeah, unless it's another big dude at a concert.
That's fair.
But people Warped Tour like that, though.
Then you make buddies with him, and then y'all both work your way up.
Just strap me to your back, but like Yoda me. Mm-hmm. Just Yoda me to your back. And I'll speak in weird cadence in your ear.
There's a lot of tricks that I've learned to going in these alternative concerts. All you got to do is act like you have a drunk person behind you. People will clear the way. It is a true story.
I can pretend to be drunk for you.
Although Gage doesn't drink.
If you guys didn't know that.
So yes, that is going to wrap that up. And there is another kind of alternative reason.
See, I see what you did there.
Behind why we did that, but Gage, I'm gonna let you explain that.
Well, obviously, Ben and I both, we both love music. We both love a lot of different types of genres, and we like doing these little segments here to kind of explain a little bit about ourselves and kind of music we are into. But this week, especially, we decided to do this segment to segue into a new podcast that Michael Kreider and myself, Stephen, John, Jesus, sometimes I just can't do it. John Jacob, Stephen, Michael Kreider. It's not my name. At Kreider. Every time he's like, that's not my name.
We've challenged each other to start listening to each other's podcasts every week now, because we've got, obviously we all need to believe in our own brand. So now he's going to listen to this and be like, this is the first one that I have to dedicate myself listening to.
This will be a test to see if he listened to it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, this is the thing that Kreider and I do. We'll be at Milo's or whatever, and he'll be, we'll start doing that, and he'll be like, it's not my name, and then he'll start calling me a cop, and I'm like, I'm not a cop. So it's just a back and forth thing we do a lot. But Kreider and I are going to be starting a podcast, and we're going to start releasing it. We're going to release it next week. It's going to be debuting next week. Mm-hmm. And the name of this podcast is going to be Earworms and LPs. And just a little explanation on what's going on there. If you don't know what an earworm is whenever you have like a song stuck in your head, you can't get it out. And if you don't know what an LP is, it's the definition of LP is whoa.
Is it long play?
It's either long play or lengthy play. What's long play? It's not
We're gonna go long play.
Lengthy play. Yeah, EPs and LPs, but an LP is a full length album. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. And so on this new podcast, since Kreider and I are both, he and I are, elbow deep in the world of music and what's going on music now, and we both have an appreciation for music of the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Every decade we have an appreciation for in some capacity. So we're going to be talking about songs that have been stuck in our head, breaking them down, maybe talk about why those songs are getting stuck in everyone's head, or talk about if it's even a good song or not. And then we're also going to focus on one album every week. He and I are both going to listen to the album. Mm-hmm. We're going to break it down, talk about what we liked about it, what we didn't like about it. Sometimes we might disagree, sometimes we might agree. And but we're both really excited about this because he and I, one time I was driving them somewhere. We were in the car, and he and I spent a solid 25 minutes, no breaks, no awkward silence, just talking about different music and just going on about music. And we're like, hey, we could actually make this, this could be a show of our own right here, because it's easy for us just to go back and forth and talk about music.
Absolutely.
And so, guys, that's going to be starting next week. And I believe that's actually going to be released on Monday next week.
It will be a Monday of next week. Yeah. I will actually be out of town next week, so there will not be a round 2 next week. So that's news for you. But when in the absence of round 2, you can listen to Earworms and LPs. And also, just another quick side note about the network: the Master Debaters is disbanding for the moment. We got called out on Twitter by the Master Debaters podcast out of the UK, and they were not happy that we took their name. It just goes to show that I didn't do enough research. I just kind of came up with it on the spot and we ran with it. But yes, so that will be disbanded for a while until we can think of a new name and a new format for it. But that will come back with a vengeance. Hinkle and I will come back with a vengeance with that podcast. So get excited about that.
Actually, they are those guys. The other Master Debaters. Mm-hmm. They're from the UK, right?
I believe so.
What y'all should do is do what The Office did. Y'all will be the Master Debaters, and you should force them to name themselves the Master Debaters, and then in parentheses UK, and y'all can be in parentheses US.
Okay.
I think y'all should just force it.
It's like Shameless, and
I'm basically right now. I'm trying to find any way possible to just stick it to these. Look, I don't know how many times you gotta teach it this lesson, old man. At England, America, #1, huh? Undefeated Revolutionary War. What up? Come at me.
So, back-to-back World War champs. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, they were allies.
I know. I'm just
going Revolutionary War.
Yeah, undefeated there. Bring it. So
hey,
anyway,
how about you get democracy for once, huh?
So we're gonna go.
The Queen's old as shit. I'm pretty sure she's a robot. There's no way she's still alive after all this time, Ben. I'm pretty sure she's a robot.
We're real excited for the network and kind of the things that are coming out with the network. We're actually going to start a new video series here pretty quick. We had some technical difficulties with it last night, but we will be revamping and getting that party going again here pretty quick. And actually, you know what? I'm going to explain it really quick just for a very brief moment. It's called Dethrone the King, where we have... all of us are the king of something or other. Some of us have a few things that we're better at than the other people. The 4 people on our executive board, myself, Gage, John Jacob, Stephen, Michael Kreider, and Stephen Henkel. We all have things that we are better than others at. And so, and last night we tried to do it, but I'm actually going to call him out. Kreider, I'm calling you out, bud. You and me. I am the king of NHL. Bring it on, dude. We will make this an actual. It'll be our first episode of this, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully, at some point this weekend, I can sit down. We can get the technical mumbo jumbo figured out, and we are going to record this, and that will be the first episode that gets brought out to you. But Kreider, you're getting called out, bud.
Ben, I know you're feeling really good about yourself right now, but because my thing we've decided was going to be the guitar, because I'm the only one that plays. I mean, I think Kreider might know a few songs, maybe, but But you feel good about this now, Ben, until I challenge you to the guitar. Until I call you out and see you attempt to play the guitar. That's going to be,
It's hilarious. I can hit like 2 chords maybe, and then that's about it. That's about all I got. So, and I'll just kind of strum along on things that, and it's just like, anyway. So shameless plug time. Gage, take it away.
All right, guys. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's going to be at a fit of Grage. My Twitter name is now Gage Wren at the urging of Stephen Hinkle. He called me out last night. He's like,
he straight up called him out.
He's like, you need to change your name from Hillary Duff's house elf to your actual name so people can know who you are. And I'm like, that's fair. That's fair enough. That's a weird name anyway. But Twitter is going to be at a fit of Grage. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's really going to be. Shut up. Hey, would you not be though? Given the option, would you not? I would.
We're gonna pass on that for now.
Instagram is going to be Officer Not Very Friendly. You want to follow my music page. I'm going to look for, hopefully, sometime soon. Going to try to get some more shows going on with the music. But that's Gage Wren Music. Just look it up on Facebook. Gage Wren Music. Should be able to find me. And then if you want to follow our Twitter page, it's going to be at the round2_podcast.
It's just round2_podcast.
Yeah, round2_podcast.
You said the.
Oh, sorry. It's going to be round2_podcast. Our Instagram is round 2, or is it just round 2 on the Instagram?
That I don't know. You're on Instagram.
I'm pretty sure it's the round 2 on Instagram.
Okay.
It's the round 2 podcast, number 2. Or if you just look up round 2 podcast, you should be able to find us on pretty much any social media platform. And we are now officially streaming through Stitcher.
Yes.
We've got enough credibility now that Stitcher's actually going to let us stream through Stitcher.
Actually, if you Google the Round 2 podcast, the first thing that's going to pop up is our Stitcher page, so that's exciting.
So there's no excuse to not listen to us, guys, because you can literally listen to us anywhere. We're on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, I already said that. Spotify. We're on everything, guys. There's no excuse. Just listen.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's Ben Anderson 2017. If you want to read my blog, it's banderson2017.wordpress.com. These are all linked on our brand new Unanchored Media website.
Oh, yeah, plug the page.
Which is unanchoredmedianetwork.com. Let me double check that because I don't want to tell you wrong. I designed the whole website. But
next thing you know, we can have some Brits tell us, oh, this is bloody awkward, lads. We are the Unanchored Media Network. So y'all gonna have to find your own name for your network. Hey, you know what? Whenever you stop eating weird shit for breakfast, then you can come talk to me.
And now my computer's not going to work.
Freaking Brits, man.
I believe it's actually just unanchoredmedia.com. That is our website. You can go there. All of our stuff is housed there. So we are working. I'm working diligently on that to try to figure out some of the ins and outs of website design and kind of we did buy our own domain for that, so we're really excited about that. Both podcasts as well as my blog are housed underneath over on the sidebar that says more. Just click on that and we'll be there. And then that's that. My photography Instagram is Ben Anderson Photo 2017. And yeah, I think that's about all I got. Make sure you go check out the website. We've got a YouTube page as well that we're going to start posting our video series on once we get them kicked off and going. So yeah, make sure you're just checking us out, telling your friends about us. We're having a whole lot of fun doing this, and we want y'all to join in and have fun with us. So, anything else, Gage?
No, I think that's it. Signing off once again. This is Gage Wren.
This is Ben Anderson from the Round 2 podcast, and we'll see y'all next week.
Brought to you by Unanchored Media Network.